Hey family, it's your boy Bobby Patterson, aka Bobby P, and welcome to another episode of the Victim No More podcast. Actually, it's episode 30. Wow, 30 episodes. This is amazing. Absolutely amazing. So I appreciate each and every one of you that has come by to support the podcast. And look, take an opportunity now to go ahead and share. Let people know that this podcast is happening right now because they do not want to miss out on this story for real, for real. It is absolutely amazing. The guest that I have coming on this evening is absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. So I hope everyone has had an amazing day so far. And we're going to go ahead and do what we do. So I hope everyone is feeling good. And if you're feeling good and you've had an amazing day so far, go ahead and drop some fire in the chat. Hey, Brandy, thanks for joining. David Lamb, thanks for joining. Tahara, thanks for joining. Maxine, hey, how you doing? Miss Unique, thanks for joining. Hey, Tish, thanks for joining. Karina, thank you for joining. Absolutely. Thanks for joining. Coa 21, Be Humble. Miss Motorbad. All right. All right. All I'm doing, I'm just waiting now for our guests to arrive. But in the meantime, hey, look, for those of you who have been connected to not only myself, but other individuals that I know that is in this chat right now, you've seen them participate in something called the 15-day challenge. Trust and believe. This is something that you want to be a part of. It can absolutely change your life. You know, I had first started out my journey when I came back to Total Life Changes a little bit over 2 years ago. And yes, I've dropped a tremendous amount of weight. I've gone through this incredible journey, and I wish that the 15-day challenge would have existed then. I really wish. Reason being, because when you're able to literally chop up your big goal into smaller pieces, that means you have an opportunity. Hey, Tasha, thanks for joining. You have an opportunity to actually get more wins. And with more wins, that means that you get even more encouraged. And with more encouragement, that means that you are even more committed to see it to the end. And yes, I've been a part of 30-day challenges, 60-day challenges, even 90-day challenges. And yeah, I got through them. But the 15-day challenge is something. Hey, Coach Tanja. Hey, 16B, thanks for joining. But trust me, the 15-day challenge is just right. And it has nothing to do with you being perfect and knowing how to do everything right up front. This is all about completion so you can walk out your journey. And I now see our guest. Let me go ahead and get her invited on here, if she hasn't sent an invitation already. Hey, Odessa, thanks for joining. And we are almost. All right. So I've now sent her the invitation. So I'm waiting for her to come on. So I pray that everybody has had an amazing day. Everyone is feeling well. Because I've been looking forward to, having this conversation with this amazing individual. Hey, Nadia, thanks for joining. And as a matter of fact, before we get started real good, congratulations on your win on Tuesday. That was amazing. You won. I mean, you won a grip, man. You won some real good money. And so I'm so proud of you because that actually represented another step in your growth process. So congratulations again. All right. I think we get ready to come on now. It's saying that you're unable to join. I'm gonna send you the request again, Peace. All right, I sent you the request again. Here we are. All right.
Hey.
Hey. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce to some and present to others this amazing, beautiful, courageous woman who's going to come here and tell her story today. Trust and believe is going to bless your soul. That's why I say you want to share this live right now, because the story that she has to tell, it is incredible. It's absolutely incredible. And from here on out, I just see great things. But we'll get to that later. But like I said, I want to introduce to some and present to others. Miss Peace Johnson, welcome to the Victim No More podcast. How are you?
Hi, Bobby. I am good. I am good. Thank you so much for having me on your platform. I am so honored to be here.
Well, I'm honored as well, for you to be here and share your story. And we met each other back in Dallas. I think it was October of last year at that event. And I can remember, you just having a sweet spirit, and it even radiates on camera, online. So that's that type of energy that you consistently bring because that's just who you are. Trust and believe, man, you're blessing the people just by your presence right now. So I can imagine what's going to happen as you begin to share your story.
Oh my goodness. So thank you. Thank you. It has taken me a long, long time to be here, to be comfortable enough to share my story. So I'm grateful. I always have an attitude of gratitude. And that is what gets me through my days, my mornings, my nights. I'm just grateful. I'm grateful to still be breathing and have the opportunity to touch anyone. Just one person is enough for me.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, generally, we start out, by kind of getting a little bit of background as to who, the individual was before total life changes as they were younger and then going into adulthood. But I think tonight we're going to do something a little bit different. I believe you have a gift that you want to share right now. We can get to that part of the story, but I think we need to go ahead and share that gift now.
Okay, yes, I have a gift that I would like to share, and I think it's in line with this platform and, you know, telling the story of how you broke that victim mentality. So I am going to do a poem for you guys. I love poetry. It helps me to relay my feelings and my emotions in a way that simply talking sometimes doesn't.
Mhm.
So the title of this poem is called Greatness, and I'm going to give it to you now.
All right.
Bear with me. I haven't performed in a long time, so uh, please give me your grace.
Yes.
Ah, all right, greatness. I'm trying to wrap my mind around my greatness, but I'm finding it hard to get a grasp on the realization that a dope fiend and another woman's husband got together to create this greatness. You see, the way I figure I was birthed to be abandoned. You see, this love child wasn't enough to get the husband. You see, since she couldn't have him, so she didn't want me, not even understanding the destiny poured into my being. Much more preoccupied with pumping that people pleaser into her veins, and a quest for questionable self healing left no room for these remains me. So I'm finding it hard to wrap my mind around my greatness. But lately, the struggle is ferocious. It's grabbed a hold and can't control this divinely inspired notion that I'm priceless, especially created from the beginning. God blessed. And the crack that she chose, yes, it made me such a mess. And my daddy didn't want me, but God, he loves his princess. And his love has been expressed in his creation of greatness. So now I'm consumed And it's becoming real to me that I am, who he created me to be. And the circumstances were exactly as he planned for them to be. This seed was fertilized in a queen by another woman's king. God did that for me. Greatness. But wait. But then reality introduces a rapist, leaving me to forever memorialize a child with a face just like his. And in the wake of this birth, which I view as a curse, my sights on greatness have diminished. Unequipped to deal with all the details, I just want to be finished. And though it's well before my time, I know there's no way that I can win this. And in the aftermath of this assault, I'm assaulted by a thief, cleverly manipulating someone who's broken, stealing my baby right from under me. Because promise is spoken, some folks are unable to keep. But in the midst of broken pieces, I managed to find my peace. And in the midst of broken pieces, I managed to find my peace. I'm comforted by the Creator, and the surrounding storms cease. Knowing greatness is my birthright, I shake the suicidal ideologies. And again, I am consumed, but now it's crystal clear to me that I am, who he created me to be. And the circumstances were exactly as he planned for them to be. The pressure revealed a brilliance that otherwise I would have been unable to see. Greatness. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I'm soaking this moment in.
Thank you, guys. I see your
Because
comments. Thank you so much.
I never been blessed like this.
Oh, wow.
You are valued. You are honored. You are loved. You are appreciated.
Thank you.
And this moment will live on forever because you put it out in the atmosphere and it's now been documented. And I've just been so blessed that it happened here on the Victim No More podcast. Thank you, Queen. Thank you. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
With that being our foundation this evening, give us a little glimpse as to who Peace was as she was from going into a little girl and, teenage years and early adulthood, and then ultimately going into, the armed forces. Just kind of give us a little background with that.
Okay. Well, as the poem highlighted, my mother was not in my life very much. She had her own demons that she never really dealt with. And it took me until, being an adult going through therapy myself to realize that, it wasn't that she didn't love me or, she didn't want me. It's that she just had to deal with her problems her way.
Mm-hmm.
So she escaped. One moment, please. I have a daughter coming in here. I'm sorry, what was that?
I want to read how much minutes left and I want to know.
Okay, I think you might have like 10 minutes. You can say hi since you're all in the camera. Okay, you can go watch your show now and we'll do the Black History after. All right. Close the door, please. Thank you. Love you. Bye. Here she go. Okay. So, yes, my grandmother raised me from about the 5th grade. And there is a song that I grew up in the church, singing, and it was that one line. But I had a praying grandmother. I would not be here today if it wasn't for the love of that woman. And she is still with us. She is 96 years young, blessed, living life on her terms. And I'm thankful. I'm thankful for that. So My mom, she was doing her thing. My grandmother stepped in and took care of my mom's three kids, not just one, not just two, but three. And yeah, she took me under her wing. I was called her shadow growing up because everywhere she went, I was going.
Okay.
You know, I felt safe with her. Felt safe with her. So yeah, she raised me. In school, I was a problem child. I know you wouldn't think it looking at me now with this sweet
No,
face,
I would have never guessed.
but in school, they had to create like a whole nother file folder because I took up so much space in their disciplinary area. So I had some issues that I wasn't dealing with. I was bored. Um, I was too intelligent to be amongst the students that were there, but I didn't have anyone pushing to get me pushed into another level.
Okay.
So I just acted up. I fought the teachers. Um, I fought anyone who looked at me wrong. I called myself being in a gang. I wasn't really in a gang. And I was a nerd. I was really a nerd. And my friends protected me for the most part because I was the nerd of the group. I just love to read. I love to learn. And that's still one of the things that's with me today. I feel like you need to learn something new every day,
Hmm.
no matter what, no matter how small, how big. So I'm home in New Orleans. I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana. And the idea of going to the military came up. And I said, you know what? I think I should do that. I feel like if I stay here in my surroundings,
Hmm.
my natural habitat, that I'm gonna become a statistic like everyone around me. So I thought the military was my way to get out, and be free.
And so from one veteran to another, I totally understand that because I had somewhat of the same dilemma.
Yes.
So I made the
Yeah.
same decision.
And it didn't turn out exactly like I thought it would be. So I went from running from being, single, unwed mom, working in a burger joint or at the local food mart or whatever. I didn't want that. So I joined the military as an air traffic controller, and it was a great job, but it was a stressful job for a 19-year-old young girl to have people's lives literally in your hands. I did that for a little while, but the stress of it got to me. And eventually I had to find another job. I had to be cross-trained, is what they called it. And because I was in a critical career field, I had to go to another critical career field. So
Okay.
I went from air traffic control to an intelligence analyst, which was amazing. Um, Let me see. I'm gonna back up just a little bit because it's gonna play a role in what's gonna come up next.
Okay.
So before I went to the military, like I said, I was a problem child, but I also developed an eating disorder when I was about 13 or 14 years old. As slim as I was, I looked in the mirror and I saw a fat girl.
Mm.
And because I saw this fat, unattractive girl, I started binging and purging, um, throwing up my food every chance that I got. And that led me to being hospitalized multiple times. And it wasn't like anyone was around me telling me, hey, you're fat, or you need to do this, or you need to lose weight. It was all internal. I'm pretty sure I read it in a book somewhere.
Right.
Some girls doing this, and I was like, oh, is that how you do that? Does that work? I'm gonna try it. Tried it, and it did not do what I thought it would do. It just made me feel even worse about myself because I couldn't even do that right. I couldn't even do that right. And to this day, as like with being in the 15-day challenge and trying to get my health right, this is so far from what I grew up doing.
Mm.
It wasn't exercise, it wasn't eat healthy. I'm from New Orleans, the South. You know how good the food is there.
That's what we do.
You know. Yes. So there was no exercising. I don't even remember exercising in school. I think we might have jumped in place or did some arm circles or something, but it was no serious exercise. So I get to the military and I'm in my new career field. And what comes up but me being called a fat girl and being put on the fat girl program. I was told I was out of shape. And at this time, I really was out of shape. I had gotten comfortable eating good in Europe. Oh, I love Europe. Let me not think about Europe and the bakeries and the breads and all the things, all the smells that you have over there. So, yes, I had gained a few pounds. And when they told me that I was too unfit, I decided that I would go back to what I thought I knew, which was binging and purging and, making myself sick. And it just made me feel worse, And I think I had my second suicide attempt around that time
Oh my.
because I just felt like I wasn't good enough. I wasn't good enough for the military. My body was betraying me. I couldn't lose the weight. So they finally sent me to a nutritionist. And I talked to the nutritionist and, got on a plan and did the work.
Okay.
Exercise, did the work. And then I lost so much weight, I couldn't even look at myself in the mirror. I just hated what I looked like because, even though I was heavier, I loved my curves. And then I have these people over me telling me that my curves are unacceptable, that I need to look another way. And then I looked this way and I just did not recognize myself. So again, I'm spiraling like, what am I going to do? I want to serve in the military, but at what cost?
Right.
So I finished that. I gained some more of the weight back, and a deployment. I got married. I had a baby, and a deployment came up. And all during this time, from the time that I got out of air traffic control into intelligence, I was having health issues that were manageable, chronic migraines, but they weren't so bad that I couldn't work. Eventually, it got to the point where I couldn't even work. I was calling into work constantly. I was trying all these different medications. I went through every medication they had for migraines. And using all of those medications destroyed my memory, destroyed my self-esteem, had me to the point where I couldn't think. I couldn't put my thoughts together. So, okay, that one didn't work. We're going to try you on this one. And it was just like a constant, my medical chart was just ridiculous. So eventually they want to deploy me. They want to send me to Afghanistan. I had a 1-year-old, I think, at the time. They looked at my medical chart. And they told me, "Nah, we can't do anything with you. You're no good to us anymore." What?
Yeah.
I was 26 years old. I think I was 26 years old when I got that news that they were done. They were going to get rid of me. They put me through some tests, go to these meetings, let's make sure. And eventually, I'm 27, and they say, yes, you're discharged honorably. That word.
Right.
They stick that word in there, and it's supposed to like change it all. But the fact is, I was fired because of my health.
And before you go any further, because I've had some similar process, people need to understand that in the military, when we say they care less about your feelings, there are no feelings involved. This is almost like a robot trance that, especially in that particular field, in that medical field, that they operate under, because they can deliver news like it has no effect on you, none whatsoever. And you sitting there literally trying to fight your feelings to match the atmosphere that they gave the news in. And it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Absolutely. So once I heard that you're discharged, and I had chronic migraines, I had post-traumatic stress disorder, um, and a plethora of other illnesses that, went in there. Get discharged in 2007 with really nowhere to live. I couldn't really afford to do anything with what they left me with. I didn't get a severance package from the military until 2009. So discharged in 2007, and in 2008, that's when the assault happened. And it's funny because I'm still talking.
I'm just
I
gonna
asked you to
listen.
give me a moment.
I want
Bye.
to listen.
No, I don't
What
want you to
you're talking
listen.
about.
No, Mama.
What are you talking
I'll
about?
talk to you about it when I'm done. Okay? Thank you. Um, so I'm waiting for them to get me into the system for, birth control and counseling and all of these things, and it took months. It took months. And I would always replay it in my mind, like, had I had an appointment when I needed an appointment
Mm-hmm.
and it hadn't taken months, this assault may have happened, but I wouldn't have been left with a baby out of this assault. Like, that part just breaks my heart. I love my baby. Don't get me wrong. I loved her from the moment I knew she was there. But it was just like, it didn't have to happen that way.
Right.
Had the system worked the way the system needed to work. So 2008, this happens. And once again, a spiral. I was out of control after this happened. Out of control with my emotions, my behaviors. Um, and I never thought of having an abortion. I never believed in that. I was like, well, if this is what happened, I'm sure God did not allow this to happen for me to kill an innocent baby. Like, that just never crossed my mind. So I loved her. I spoke to her. I wanted her to feel every bit of love in my soul. Then I gave birth to her. And when I looked at her, all I saw was his face. It was like, how can I love this baby so much, but I hate seeing her. So I was like, I'm not gonna let him win. I'm not gonna let him win. I'm gonna do this with my disabled self, barely having any funds. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. So for 2.5 years, I really tried. I really, really tried to take care of her and love her and ignore the fact that she had the face of my rapist. And one day I had a horrible, horrible migraine. I was laying in bed and she was crying.
Mm-hmm.
And she wouldn't stop crying. And I was alone. I would have my other daughter and my baby, and I was just crying. And the first thought that came to my mind was, I just want to throw her against the wall just to quiet her. And then God spoke to me. He was like, it's not her fault. It's not her fault. And in that moment, I said, well, I can't hurt her because it's not her fault.
Right.
So I'm going to love her enough to find a home for her where when they look at her, all they see is a beautiful baby. All they see is everything that's good about her. So it was the hardest thing that I've ever had to do. And the only regret that I have in my life, that I had to part with my baby because I didn't want to hurt her. Like, that was ultimately it. I love you enough to let you go because I do not want to hurt you because of what he did to me.
Before we go any further, I know you have your own thoughts and feelings about this, but I want to say that took so much courage. And it took so much love to make that decision. And I can guarantee you there's so much favor, not only on your life, but on her life. And I just believe that there's something coming. I don't know exactly what it is, but our Father, our Heavenly Father has a way of distributing redemption in such a way that we can't even know or fathom what it's going to be, how it's going to affect us. But because you made that decision of life, you literally gave birth to that baby twice.
Mm.
So I know how I can understand how you feel, but just know that took courage and that took so much love. Man, I honor you. I honor you.
Thank you. Thank you. It did. It was like the hardest thing that I've ever had to do. And another spiral, because even though I knew I needed to do it, I dealt with someone who I thought was a friend.
Mm.
And, the deal was, I'll never keep her away from you. That's your daughter. She's always going to be yours, and you're always welcome in our family. And when I say this, like, it's like the truth. I signed the papers for the adoption, and the ink could not have been dry before she told me, we need to have a cooling off period. She shouldn't see you anymore. She needs to get used to her new family. I mean, it was like, wait, hold up. Like, yesterday we were best friends. And now that you have what you want, you have no more need for me. And now you have the papers, you have my daughter, and I could do nothing. So I called the adoption counselor, and I was like, wait, are you serious? Like, she can do this? Like, I don't have like a term, a few days where I can like change my mind. And the adoption counselor must have been in on it, because she was like, I don't have time for this. You made your decision. Before
Wow.
she was nice and sweet, and what do you need from me, and how can I make this easier for you? Soon as the papers were signed, it was, we're done. You can go live your life. So then I went from suicidal thoughts to homicidal thoughts. Like, I wanted to hurt this woman. But ultimately, I was like, if I hurt her, I'm hurting my daughter all over again. If I go to, who is calling me? Sorry about that. If I, try to fight for her in court, I'm ultimately hurting her again, because now she's caught in this battle. Did not want to do that to her. So I packed up. At that time, I had a little two-door Fiat. I packed up as much stuff as I could fit in that Fiat and drove across the country to Arizona. And that was the only way that I could protect myself, my daughter, from me doing anything that I could not come back from.
Understandable.
So, and then with that, it was like, I felt so bad for what I did. And everybody kept throwing this word abandon, like, you abandoned your daughter, and how could you abandon her? And then I felt like, oh my God, I abandoned her. And then I just was like, well, I don't deserve a good life. I don't deserve any good. I don't deserve to do anything with my life because of what I did to her. Because when she looks back, I want her to be like, that's exactly what you deserve. You should have, you died. You shouldn't have made anything of yourself. Like, whatever bad thing could have, I wanted that. I welcomed it. And every day, I just wanted to die. Every day, with the pain that I had from the migraines and the thoughts that I had about abandoning her, I was just like, I don't even need to be here. I was abandoned by the military. I was just tossed away like trash by the military. Hurt more than one time by men who should have been protecting me. And then I couldn't even take care of my daughter. Like, it was just like, no, you have no purpose. no purpose. But all the while, all the while, this one verse kept popping up. And this lady one day, she handed me this card from out of the blue with this verse on it. And it said, Jeremiah 29:11.
Mm.
For I know the plans that I have for you. Plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. I would look at that card all the time. And even though I felt one way, I was like, nope, he has a plan for me. There is a future for me. There is this verse, out of all the verses in the Bible, people would just speak this verse into me all the time, giving it to me on bookmarks, on cards, because they knew I loved to read. So people would just be like, I saw this bookmark and I thought of you. And I'm like, okay, well, I receive it. But all the time, all the time. So eventually it just became my favorite verse. Those were my favorite numbers. I was like, there has to be a reason for all of this stuff that is happening. And I just got to hold on. I just got to hold on.
Right.
So that's what I was doing. I was holding on when the 15-day challenge came about.
Mm.
I was holding on. It was a knot, and I was just holding on for dear life that I would not fall and that I would keep going. You have something to say? I saw you.
I'm just soaking this in. I am in awe right now. I am in awe. And the reason why I'm in awe, I remember meeting you. And we discussed this earlier today. I knew, I didn't even know anything about your story back then. I knew you was going to be here telling it. I just didn't know when. And so here we are. And I'm getting details that I've never heard before. You love that baby. And that's just the bottom line. That Jeremiah 29:11. You're here sharing this story for an amazing, tremendous purpose that we can't even see the whole scope of right now. We're not supposed to, because it'd probably take us out. But just know, what you've done and what you've been through has not been in vain. Go ahead, continue.
I received that. I received that. I mean, I was talking to a counselor once, trying to get my daughter into counseling, because I know how much it helps. I know how valuable it is. I know how important it is to be able to speak to someone about what you're going through. So they have this point in there where they're like, okay, you need to know who you are, because, that's going to help us better serve your daughter. So I'm just talking to them. And the conversation is just going on and on and on. And then the counselor is like, wait, excuse me, are you seeing anyone right now? Do you have a counselor? And that's when it dawned on me, like the load I was carrying and how much I've really been through. Because as moms, definitely we go through life like, we got to take care of the babies. We got to take care of the household. We got to make sure the homework is done. We got to do this. We got to do that. And we forget about ourselves, especially our mental health. We're just trying to be strong. We're trying to be that strong Black woman, especially when we know we've made some mistakes. So now we're trying to be even stronger. I got to let you know that I'm not going to fall, that you can depend on me. And there's no room, it seems, for us to just breathe and let it all out.
Be yourself and be real.
Just be yourself. Exactly. And when I heard her concern, I was like, you're right. You're right. It took me talking to you about my child to know that I have work that I need to do. And now, that is the most important thing. So, like I said, when the 15-day challenge came, I was holding on. I was holding on. I was waiting for death to come. You know, when I woke up in the morning, it was like, okay, I'm still here. Another day. No excitement. No, oh, let's seize the day. And one of my accountability partners, Dan, said something so amazing last night. He was like, I went from surviving the day to living the day. And it's such a big distinction between just surviving because, like, you're surviving on life support. Like, when you're on life support, you're there, but are you really? But when you're living, when you're finding things in every day to be grateful for, to embrace, that's what the 15-day challenge did for me. It took me out of my head and thinking, I don't belong here. I don't have a purpose. I'm never going to do anything right, to 15 days. I can do 15 days.
Right.
And then when you break those 15 days into one day at a time, I can do one day at a time, one win at a time. So I'm just winning every day. I went from feeling like,
oh my goodness,
to I'm winning every day. I'm doing something beneficial for my health every single day with no negotiations.
Come on now.
And by showing me, because it's me versus me, I'm not worried about nobody else. I'm congratulating everybody else. I'm cheering everybody else on. But in the mirror.
But the first one is you.
Yes.
Come on now.
In the mirror, I'm looking at her and saying, girl, look at what you did. You did that. You did that extra rep. You woke up early to seize the day. You encouraged someone today. You loved yourself today enough not to eat the honey buns, not to eat the cake,
Yes.
Just drink enough water. That's love. And nobody had ever showed it to me in that way, that's a way of loving yourself.
Come on.
So the 15-day challenge definitely saved my life. It made me realize that there is more to life than thinking about what you lost or thinking about the mistakes of the past. So ultimately, I was like, okay, what's more important, the past or the future? My future is what's important. So I'm sorry, past, but you gotta go. You did what you did. You were here, but you're not the most important thing because you're not going to help me get to my goal. And I have a goal to reach. So I was like, okay, future, I'm here with you. We are attached. You put a ring on it, whatever. We going to do this thing together. We going to do this thing.
Now, we kind of want to shift some gears here. How did you even get introduced to Total Life Changes?
Oh, that story. Okay, so my wonderful business partner, Tahira Ogletree, slid into my DMs. Oh, and she was like, hey. No, I commented on one of her pictures because she had did this wonderful transformation.
Right.
So once I was like, girl, you looking good, blah, blah, blah. She slid into my DMs. It's like, yeah, this is what helped me look the way that I'm looking right now. She sent me a sample and I hated it. I was like, Tahira, what is this godforsaken tea you have sent me? This is the worst experience I have ever had.
Not understanding it was doing what it's supposed to do.
I felt like all my insides was coming.
Oh, man.
Down to me, she was like, well, sweetie, you have years and years and years of waste that have to get out. So that's what it is. It's doing its job. I was like, oh, okay. Send me another sample.
Oh, goodness.
So once I did it right, I was like, oh, okay. I could get with this. So it started with a sample.
Okay. And to hear her, by the way, as a matter of fact, she had already been on the podcast and she shared her tremendous story. And it kind of leads me to this next point I want you to kind of cover a little bit. There's like a nucleus or a group I like to refer to. I like to refer to you all as a conglomerate. You all are doing some amazing things with Tahira, Booker Elin, and Patricia Elin. You all are also known as the Healers. Talk about the Healers a little bit.
Okay, the Healers. That is something new that we just started. And we're just trying to promote health and wellness through healing in all aspects of your life, through the mental aspect, health as far as what to eat, what not to eat. You know, Booker, an amazing transformation.
Right.
He lost a person and a half.
Mm-hmm.
He reversed his diabetes. We making no medical claims, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, the products plus a healthy lifestyle, things are going to change. Also through beauty and taking care of your skin with Patricia, me with mental health,
Right.
Tahira with domestic violence, and we both dealt with domestic violence issues. So it's like we're taking everything that we've all experienced and sharing our stories in order to reach people in a different way. So we have shows every Sunday. We have guests on our show sometimes. We have cooking. We're just doing a little bit of everything just to bring the strengths out of each other. And therefore, we're all stronger together. The old proverb, the African proverb says, you can go faster alone, but you can go further together.
Exactly.
And we grabbed on to that bad boy, and we like, we going to the top, and we gonna do it together.
You all are doing an amazing job, and I watched you. You know, it's like the confidence just keep building. It's like every day, and it's like you're literally outside of a physical transformation, but you're also going through a spiritual transformation as well. And I'm just so proud of you, because I remember back in October when we first met, and like I said before, you know, this is definitely, I trust and believe, this is not the same piece that I met in Dallas versus who is right in front of me today. The growth has been tremendous, and your message it's a serious one. But the reason why I had to have you on here is because you're now standing on the other side of truth.
Absolutely.
Everything is not perfect, no. But now you've gotten into a place where you can literally teach people, look, I've been where you are, and this is what I've done to get to the other side of truth. And it's put me in a position to be able to stand on top of my story, being healed, sharing healing with you. And so this is just, this has been one of the more powerful episodes of the Victim No More podcast. And I just want to thank you for providing that. I knew today was going to be special. I just didn't know how special it was going to be. Now, in closing, I would like for you to give 3 bullet points to someone that may be in a similar situation, that is thinking about giving it up all the way, who don't think they have nowhere to turn, they don't know what to do. And here's another thing that I kept hearing in your story. Not enough people saw or heard you. And so those individuals that feel the same way, they feel alone. What are 3 nuggets that you can give them that they can use immediately?
Okay, before I get to that, I want to go back to Dallas because it gives me chills when I think about the girl who walked in to that hotel, just looking and in awe. And there was one in particular person that I kept seeing everywhere I turned in the hotel. She was sitting right behind me in the conference room. Every conference room, she was like right there. And that is Coach Sierra. And I didn't know. I didn't know that we were establishing a connection at the time. I was just like, I felt so out of place. And when I saw her, she had this confidence, and I was like, oh, I can't talk to her. Like, this is not something that I can do. She's not going to be in my circle. And now we are sisters.
Yeah.
She has taught me so much. She has encouraged me so hard. And I had no choice but to get out of my shell. I had to hear her and portray. And it's just like, sometimes we take for granted the people that we meet and what they are there to teach us. But I told you, I'm a learner. I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to grow. And I just have to give a big shout out to Coach Sierra for not only seeing me, but pulling me out of me to get to this point where I can deliver something for the people.
Well, wow. Absolutely incredible. And Coach Sierra, she's been on the show sharing her story. It's just incredible. I go back and I think now, who I ought to had on this platform, especially once I came and switched, because I originally started on Facebook. I did 22 episodes there. And so coming here, at the beginning of the year has definitely been proven to be the right move. Before I go any further, if you all are not following this powerhouse, Miss Peace Johnson, go ahead and hit that box at the top left-hand corner of the screen and follow her immediately, like yesterday, because you do not want to miss a move that this woman is doing. Because we're going to go back and look at this a year from now, and I am just so curious as to what we're going to see next. What's next? Because that's one thing that I found out going through my process, my transformation about the human spirit. The human spirit can go through so much, but it is constantly and consistently asking what's next. It's like, okay, we're going to acknowledge, yeah, this happened. Okay, but what's next? And I know that nothing, absolutely nothing but greatness is what's next for you. Another level of greatness. Because this go from, from levels and chapters, and we have to walk this journey out. But I am overwhelmed with gratitude right now. This episode is really, really one of those special episodes that I know is going to bless the people. Not only that is watching this live, but it's going to catch it on replay. This is amazing. This is absolutely amazing. But if you can, going back and just sharing those 3 nuggets to that person who is discouraged. They don't feel as if nobody sees them or hear them. They're at their wits' end. They have been through trauma, and it's like nobody cares. Can anybody hear my silent scream? What would you say to them?
One thing I would say is, I think sometimes we want to wish our problems away and wish that our lives could be different. But like you said, you got to grow through it. And you got to realize that the obstacle that is in front of you is there for a reason. You can't go around it. You can't wish it was somebody else's problem. You have to say, okay, this obstacle is here. I'm going to deal with this obstacle, and I'm going to go through the obstacle. The obstacle is the way. There's no way of getting around it. As I was laying there just depressed and sad and hating life, that wasn't beneficial to me or anyone else. So the moment I said, okay, how can I deal with what's in front of me so I can turn it around for my good? That's when I was able to overcome. But running away and wishing it away, it wasn't going to help at all. So that's one of the first things that I would say is, you know, embrace the obstacle. Don't want it to be gone or be for someone else. And the other thing is realizing that you weren't created for nothing. You have a purpose. There is something inside of you that is just waiting to be birthed, waiting to get out. And you have to do your part. You have to go to the source, not to your girlfriends or your guys or your mama or your sister. None of them are going to help you realize how to deal with the gift that was given to you from the source. So you got to stay connected to the source.
Yes.
You got to know that he is not going to steer you in the wrong direction. If you just listen, if you just hold on, you're going to get to the direction, get to the goal that you have in mind. It's there for you to get to. And the last thing that I would probably say is something that I tell my daughter all the time. I guess as teenagers, it's hard for them to affirm and believe despite what they feel and what they see. So I know affirmations, some people are like, whatever, those don't work. But it works if you work it. So if you're seeing something over and over and over again, but you're not saying it, but you believe it, like in your gut, in your spirit, in your DNA, that this thing that I want so bad that I know the universe, God, the creator can provide for me, it's mine. Like your whole vibrational frequency is going to change and it's going to bring that thing to you. So affirmations from a place of, I already know it's mine, like in my soul, in my being, I believe it to be true. It's yours. It's there. It's coming. So,
and I'm excited because you actually literally speaking one of the principles that I teach. When there's zero distance between you and it, whatever it may be, then it is yours.
That part, yes. That's it.
That's what it is. You have to believe that. And I said this earlier on the live today. People do what they believe. You can tell me all day long, but I'm watching what you're doing. I can literally see what your belief level is by what you do. And so what you said was so powerful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And y'all, look, drop some fire in this chat if this live has been a blessing to your soul. I know it has been for me. I can't drop any fire. I'm the host of this live, but trust me, if I could, I'd be like, I'd do all that. But trust and believe. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for stopping by the Victim No More podcast. Definitely, if I have it my way, this will not be your last time.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you for staying the entire time if you could. I appreciate you. I love you. I love you so much. If you have not heard it today, you are loved, you are wanted, and you are necessary. So don't you ever forget it. Take that to the bank.
And you are loved, and you are wanted, and you are necessary. Miss Peace Johnson, once again, thank you for gracing this podcast. Whew. I know we got to end, but I don't necessarily want to end because I feel like we could actually go into a little bit of teaching, but we both have some other lives to actually tend to, but thank you so much, and thank you for each and every one of you who actually came by to check out this live and even on the replay. But I want you to do yourself a favor. If you did not catch the beginning of this live, you need to go back and catch the masterpiece that Miss Peace Johnson dropped. Trust and believe. It will bless your whole entire soul. And it literally laid the foundation for what we experience for the remainder of this podcast. Look, family, my time is up. I thank you for yours. And as I end each and every live, I love each and every one of you. And it's absolutely nothing, I mean nothing, you can do about it. Peace.
Peace and love, y'all.